If you don't know me by now, you will never, never, never know me. I'm Dr. Joel B. Gooden, and we're talking about key moment, positive childhood memory. This is part of the interview portion of the data collection, attachment to parent modification. So, the fourth scene is, you'll say this, the fourth scene is an early memory from childhood or your teenage years of a moment or event you shared with one of your parents that stands out as especially positive in some way. This would be a very positive, happy memory involving your family from your early years. Please describe this good memory in detail. What happened, where and when, who was involved, and what were you thinking and feeling? When finished? Oh, I copied something else since then. Finished. All right, finished. Key moment, negative childhood memory. And always just be especially on alert when they're talking about negative things that you've asked them. Not trying to trigger anybody, but you are trying to delve into something that could be a little uncomfortable. The fifth scene is an early memory from childhood or your teenage years that stands out as especially negative in some way. This would be a very negative, unhappy memory from your early years, perhaps entailing sadness, fear, or some other very negative emotional experience. You want to have a very calming voice when you discuss this. Not try to sound happy about it. Just be gentle. To the degree that you're able. I don't know how to teach you to be gentle. Sometimes I'm quite harsh, so probably not the best. Please describe this bad memory in detail. It's like we're sadists. Please describe this bad memory in detail. What happened, where and when, who was involved, and what were you thinking and feeling. Just a side note, generally if people are able to make meaning of an event in their life, if they have found meaning, that's called what Hladky, Hladkyj said was narrative implotment. If they do that, then they're much more likely to be at peace with the event. If they haven't narratively implotted or made meaning of the event in their life, then it's likely to evoke much negative reaction because they have not made peace with it. But if it becomes part of their story, that's the idea behind narrative implotment and the wording of it, they're more likely to be at peace. So finished. Key moment, negative childhood memory, probe 1. Was there anyone you could turn to for help in this experience? This is really important. We are getting into attachment theory, where instead of applying attachment to parents or friends or lovers, partners, we are using attachment theory to understand how they may use or be attached to God in a similar way, or instead of a parent or lover, in addition to or instead of. Why did you usually go? I can't read. Who did you usually go to when you were upset? Really important. It's likely who they're attached to. And if this wasn't a secure attachment, then it was likely to get inconsistent or uncertain results. And so we all want to go to somebody, and we often do, even if we're not sure what the results might be. Even with gods, as they've been interpreted by Greek and Roman cultures, some were quite mercurial. In other words, unexpected behavior. And when you go to a parent, and the parent might be on drugs or abusive or drunk or whatever, or might have sort of maybe some mental health issue or some sort of behavioral inconsistency where sometimes they're comforting, sometimes they say quit being a weak person, or whatever words, flowery words they might use, and obviously that creates an insecure attachment. Even if you don't know Bowlby, in Bowlby's attachment theory, you can kind of understand how this would affect one's life and their future relationships, to be clear. All right, so key moment negative childhood memory probe 2. If the parent was the cause of the negative memory, say, why do you think your parent did those things? Do you think he or she realized they were upsetting you? When finished, type finished, or if this is skipped, you can type finished. Key moment positive, thankfully something positive, religious or spiritual experience, and this is our introduction, whether they're religious or not, many people report that they have had experiences in their lives where they felt a sense of the transcendent or sacred, a sense of God or some almighty or ultimate force, or a feeling of oneness with nature, the world, or the universe. Thinking back on your entire life, please identify an episode or moment in which you felt something like this. This might be an experience that occurred within the context of your own religious tradition, if you have one, or it may be a spiritual or mystical experience of any kind. Please describe this transcendent experience in detail. What happened? Where and when? Who was involved? And what were you thinking and feeling? When finished, type finished or make brief notes. If the participant describes God as part of the experience, say, what did this experience teach you about your own relationship with God? How does that affect your religious beliefs today? And always allow them to answer in full, but also be mindful of their time and energy and redirect them if you feel they're getting off the beaten path of relating information that answers your question. You can redirect them. Say, okay, so did you have anything more to say? That's really interesting. Did you have anything more to say about what that experience taught you about your relationship to God? Or if you feel that's been sort of fulfilled, saturated, then you can, if you need to skip to the next question, say, okay, now I want to, sorry, just looking at my clock here, blame it on yourself. Always mea culpa. Blame it on yourself. Oh, I've let time get away from me. Let me make sure I keep track of your time. It's very important to me. So let me get to the next question before so that I can be respectful of your time. And here we're getting to negative religious or spiritual experience. Have you ever felt threatened because of God, your religion, or some other kind of unusual force? And has anything in your religious experience or background made you feel scared? Some people have told us, for example, that their religion included cases, and this is a prompt, but you might just follow up here if they don't know what to say. Some people have told us, for example, that their religion included cases in which believers would be punished or rejected. Others have described moments where they felt as if God or another force was directly punishing or negatively affecting them. I'll fix that, hopefully. How old were you at that time? Did it happen more than once, and how frequently? Do you feel like this experience or these experiences affect you now as an adult? Please explain. Please describe an event in your life in which you displayed wisdom. This is Wisdom Event Intro. The episode might be one in which you acted or interacted in an especially wise way, or provided wise counsel or advice, made a wise decision, or otherwise behaved in a particularly wise manner. What happened, where and when, who was involved, and what were you thinking and feeling? Look in the eyes. I do a lot of thinking, especially since I have a lot of meetings on Zoom. I as much as possible, I do try to look at people's face, but I also try to look straight into the camera. If you're interacting via Zoom, look into the camera. That creates more emotional connection, which could be really important when sharing something so personal and private as some of these items. Wisdom Event Probe 1. Also, what does this memory say about you and your life? And then, did you feel that this experience was caused by the influence of some kind of higher power? So we're getting into this because sometimes people will give credit. You know, you see athletes do this on the field. Well, I couldn't have done it without God. Or sometimes when people have an amazing idea, you know, they win some Nobel Peace Prize or something. They invent something. So they give credit to a higher power or deity. Did you feel that this experience was caused by the influence of some kind of higher power? All right, and apparently I missed one. I think this one. All right, it will tell you. I've set it up to tell you. All right, at this point, I'll come back when you click the next button. Thank you for your attention. Please sort of get familiar with this so that you'll be able to sort of go through it. That doesn't mean you won't make a few mistakes and mumble or trip over your words or something, but you will be prepared and know that you are going to be asking some difficult questions. So be as gentle, respectful as you can. Be patient, but also redirect them when needed. Right? Thank you.